welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'll be answering the question, is nasal singing bad? But before we jump to the actual video, I would like to introduce myself. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Abby Sulit. I'm a freelance theater actress from the Philippines and currently an online vocal coach and voice teacher. This channel is all about hashtag smart singing and helping you become the best performer that you can be. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. I would love for you to be part of the family. So let's jump on to the video. Have you ever been told that you're nasal when you sing? What does that even mean? Is that a bad thing? First off, let's talk about nasal singing. Let's describe what nasal singing is. Because for sure, some of you may not know what nasal singing means. Nasal singing is singing with your nasal resonators. So what is a resonator? Resonance meaning where the air vibrates. Now, we have 6 main resonating chambers in our body. The first one is our chest resonator. The second one is our larynx. The third one is our pharynx, which I described earlier on in my previous videos. And I mentioned that the pharynx is the throat. Fourth is our oral cavity. Fifth, our nasal resonators. And then last is our head or the brain cavity. So you have 6 main resonators. And nasal singing is just singing using your nasal resonator. Now, nasal singing can actually be done in various degrees. Like for example, if you sing 100% with your nasal resonator, it would sound something like this. I've been dreaming of a true love's kiss. I actually have no idea why I sang that song. The singer was not nasal. It's the first song that entered my mind when I thought of nasal singing. I have no idea why. Don't judge the original singer. She's not nasal. I just thought about it, guys. Sorry. But yes, conversely, you can actually have 100% with no nasal resonance. Like for example, if you are doing 100%, most probably you are just doing oohs and ahs. For example, you're doing ah, ooh. Again, you can have varying degrees. Normally, you have a mix of your nasal resonators with other resonators. Alright, so you cannot really remove it. Like when you sing, even when you talk, you're actually not too nasal, but you have a certain degree of nasality. Does that make sense? To be honest, I find it 100% like unnatural if you speak like nasal the entire time you talk. I mean, it's possible if, for example, you are sick, like if you have a runny nose or colds or whatever, sometimes you sound nasal, like even when you just talk. But I find that it's actually a mix of your resonators, your different resonators. You're not purely nasal, but you have to some degree nasal qualities. Now let's answer the question, is nasal singing bad? Of course not. There's nothing wrong with nasal singing. It's really down to style. Like if you want to be nasal, go ahead. Like you can do your I'm wishing. Is it wishing or dreaming? I'm dreaming today. I don't know. For me, Snow White is a nasal singer, but she is the original princess. Is she? Is she the original princess? I have no idea. I think she is, but yes, she's an example of a nasal singer that actually is alright. I mean, at like some degrees, it could be annoying, but that's her style and you actually like her for being her. So yeah, first of all, it's down to style. Second of all, we have to correct the misnomer of you're singing nasal to you're too nasal. Because sometimes you can be too nasal, and again, like I mentioned earlier, it can be annoying. It's a taste thing. Like you can like it, you can not like it. It's preference, you know, it's up to you if you like it or not. But we have to correct that misnomer of you're nasal to you're too nasal, because I believe that you can to some degree be too nasal. Alright? Yes, I have said to some people that they are nasal, and I want to correct myself in saying that you may be too nasal during some parts of a song, which you can correct. Remember, your resonators are your tools, and you can use all these 6 resonators when you sing. You don't want to use just your chest, you don't want to use just your head, your pharynx, your larynx, your oral, your nasal. You can use a mix of all your resonators to produce different qualities of sound. And that's the beauty in singing. You don't want to have just one plain monotonous singing sound, just la 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 la. You don't want that. You want to sound, good. And for me, as like a musical director, whenever I would teach my students, I ask them to do, a mix of these different things. If I find that they are too nasal, I do try to correct them. If you want to see a video on how to check if you're nasal, please comment down below. I would love to know if this is something that you guys are interested in, like knowing if you are too nasal, because I feel like, you may not realize if you're too nasal or if you lack nasality. Does that make sense, guys? But yes, please comment below if you're dying to know if you're nasal or not. I will probably do a video in the future about finding out if you're too nasal. But please comment below. I would love to hear from you guys. Now, going back, I digress. Sorry. So as I mentioned before, you can have varying degrees of nasality, of using your nasal resonator or being a nasal singer. Like for example, if there's a character that you want to develop and you want that character to be nasal, then you can use your nasal resonators to use that as a quirk, to add a different attack to that character, so it adds a lot of flavor to that role. 0% nasal singing is okay, although it takes away a certain element of twang. I don't know if you've ever heard of the term twang. Like, you can hear it when you say the word twang. There's like, partially there's a nasal sound to that twang, because you have the NG at the end, twang. Like, it's a mix of your oral to your nasal sound. And if you're 100% not nasal, then you're going to lose that element of mixing that the twang element, basically. This might be okay for classical singers, because I think most classical singers, if not all, are not nasal. You can correct me on that, but I'm not quite sure. I did take up classical singing when I was younger, and I actually don't remember.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never.
I don't remember if I was nasal when I was younger, but yes, I think if for in a classical setting, classical singers are expected to sing in full. Therefore, they're not as nasal as like Broadway or contemporary music. For me, ideally, you should sing somewhere in the middle. Like, find the middle ground between singing nasally, and singing with your other resonators. Again, it's a matter of technique. And it takes time for you to get used to mastering your different resonators. Now, again, I will go back on emphasizing that it's important to have a teacher, for someone to guide you to find out how to produce these different sounds with the different resonators. So that's why I keep emphasizing that if you guys can find a vocal coach, a voice teacher, and ask about how to sing things differently, using your different resonators, because it'll show off that you can control your voice and you have different techniques when you sing. So again, going back, nasal singing is not bad. Being nasal is actually normal, because again, as I mentioned, it's a mix of both. Too much of one thing can be bad, like too much of being a nasal singer can be bad. Too much of something else, like just being head, can also be bad. They have their flaws, alright? Being 100% one thing and being 100% of another thing can actually be bad. That's why I will repeat that it's a mixture of both. And once you find that mix and you know how to play around with these different resonators, that's how you flavor your song. That's how you show off your different techniques, and you show that I can sing this note this way, I can sing this note that way. It's a matter of being in control of your resonators or how to use your resonators. I hope you guys learned something from what I mentioned. If there's something that you want me to clarify, please comment below and I will gladly talk about it again if you need me to talk about it again. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope you learned something new. Again, comment below if you want me to do a video on finding out if you're too much of a nasal singer, because I can give you tips and tricks to find out if you are too much of a nasal singer. So yes, that's it for this video. Thank you again for watching. If you haven't already, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It will mean the world to me if you do. Follow me on my other socials. Somewhere here, I will put it up. And I'll see you guys on my next video. Mahal ko kayo. Bye!